What is up, RC enthusiasts? Check it out. I've got my B14 back in action. Look at this thing. Got a couple more mods added onto it. Looks like a beast to me. I actually like it. I can't wait to run this thing in the water. But first, this new system right here, the AX7S, I believe it's called. Or AX7S, I think, yeah, that's what this is called. This thing is in here right now, functioning, just to test it. But I have to waterproof it, so this is what this video is about. I'm going to take this off, waterproof it, show you that whole procedure, and show you how I put it in here so you guys know exactly the location I put my stuff in. It's pretty simple. Build this one right here, especially when you use this. This thing so far has been impressing me. Check it out. No drag brake either, but the 2-speed in these KM version WPLs, they hold pretty well in the low gear. And in second gear, sorry for all that noise you hear in the background. I hope it's not that annoying, but that's my 3D printer going off. Don't worry, you won't hear it the whole time. We're just going to go ahead and waterproof this. That should be done after that. And a running video and see this thing in the water, so you won't be hearing this 3D printer anymore, I promise. But here it is in second gear, or the high speed gear. Still enough torque to go up stuff in the high gear. 20 amp ESC, that's what they claim on this one, and I believe it. It's strong, smooth too. The steering is one thing I noticed. Maybe the BEC, the internal BEC is too weak because the steering is actually pretty weak. Then again, there's a lot of traction on here. All you're gonna need is your Plastidip or whatever you choose to waterproof with. You know, I'm not here to tell you what to use. This is just what I've been using, and it's been working great for me. So I'm going to continue using it. They do have conformal coating and other stuff you could use. Some people use epoxy, but I feel like a thin layer of this keeps my electronics a lot cooler than having a thick layer of epoxy on there. But, you know, to each his own. If you don't like it, use your own technique. I'm just going to show you what I waterproof and how I do it so you can have fun like I do. So first, I'm going to take this motor out of here so I can get this servo out, because we have to waterproof that as well. And I got to remove the 2 screws right here to the front servo and the servo horn, so I can take that out as well and waterproof that. So I'm going to go ahead and take this all off. Shouldn't be too hard. Alright, here we go. We have the servo out, the ESC receiver combo out that we're going to waterproof as well, and the motor and transmission right here. So one last thing you're going to need besides Plastidip is a piece of cloth like so. This is just an old sock that it's clean. Don't worry, I washed it. I'm not handling nasty socks. But here you go. Just something cut like that, and we're going to cover the motor with it. Let's go ahead and let's waterproof stuff. I'm going to go ahead and take the 2 servos apart to show you inside and what I do. Well, here you go. I have my servos apart. It's just 4 screws in the back. This is what the back looks like of the servos. So that's that little board inside the servo right there that you're going to want to waterproof. So you can see the tiny little board. But yeah, you're going to waterproof both sides and even the seam, just so water doesn't get in between. And here's the one on the shift servo. Same thing. That little chip right there needs to be coated with Plastidip. Just a thin layer. Just make sure to completely coat it. And that's it for that. And here's the ESC receiver. I just pried it out of its case, which was pretty simple. The tabs are really easy to pull off, so just take it out of the case and you're good to go. And there it is. That needs to be waterproofed as well, front and back, and even the seam. I'll go ahead and show you a little demo on this side of the board. And you want to make sure not to get any Plastidip on your servo leads right there, or even your light leads right there, which I don't know if I'm going to be using it during this run or not, because I don't have the right connector for that to plug in lights, but we'll see what happens. As you can tell, I'm holding it up here by the wires, because if you hold the board, you are going to get Plastidip on your fingers, which is not bad because Plastidip comes off pretty easily. But here I'm going to show you guys how I do it. I just get like a little screwdriver. As you can tell, this has already been used for Plastidipping stuff. Get some Plastidip on the end of it. And then I just dab it on to the important parts of the ESC, which is the whole ESC I'm going to cover with this. You can tell right there, I'm just going to keep on doing this until I can get it to cover the whole ESC. Well, there you go, guys. That's how it looks like, completely coated in Plastidip. You can tell the bottom, I haven't coated the bottom yet. But yeah, there's the top, completely coated, even the sides. And now what you want to do is you set that down, let that dry, go to your next component that needs to be waterproofed, which is your servo. So go ahead and waterproof both sides of that, and I'll show you what that looks like. And there you go. As you can tell, that's fully waterproof there. Now we're just gonna let that dry. Alright, so I'm gonna do the same thing to this, but before I do that, since I'm gonna have to set this down and not touch it for a while, I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys how I cover my motors. So here's that little sock I was talking about. I usually, you see these little holes right here, and that hole, debris can get in those. And then if the debris happens to be magnetic, it will get stuck in there as well. Now if you get debris in there, it could possibly mess up the brushes, it could get in between the motor wires and ruin the motor windings, and just ruin this motor in general. So as you can tell, there's even holes up here. So there's holes everywhere on this motor, right there, 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 and up front. So we're gonna try to cover those. All you need is a piece of cloth like so. And then while you're wrapping it around the motor, don't pull too hard, because you can tell you pull hard, you're gonna make the holes a lot bigger so debris can get in there. Just pull a little bit and overlap it, and right where you overlap it, you're going to put a line of glue down there, and that will go ahead and hold that in place. And after you do that, you trim the excess, and then you can see up front right here you have this hole. Now you're just going to fold that over like so it holds the wires in place like that, and then glue that on there and cut off the excess. And that way you have a fully sealed motor. It can still breathe, and water can still get in there, which is okay. Water getting in the motor is fine. You just don't want debris in there to ruin your brushes and your windings on your motor. Well, there you go. Waterproof the chip of the board. You can't tell anymore, it's just all black. And the motor is now wrapped up completely. See, the super glue hardened. So now it's good to go. Now we just gotta let that board dry back there. Set it down right here. And I still have the back side of this board to do right here. And then once it's all dry, I'll get back to you guys, and we'll shove all these things back onto the chassis, and we're going to go for that run. Alright, as you can tell right here, I have everything back together, all screwed in. Motor's ready, servo's ready. Now I didn't show you those steps because I have a video. I'll put a link right here in this corner to how I put these together, but I left the drive shaft off. Oh, I'll fix that later. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and put this ESC receiver combo up in here. And I'm going to leave it decased, so I'm not going to be using this case anymore because I did Plastidip it. And that way, it won't retain as much heat anymore. So that way, heat can dissipate a lot quicker than having to be inside Plastidip and this plastic case. Well, yeah, let me go ahead and plug this all in. And I'm going to show you where I sit this ESC receiver in here underneath this cover right here. Alright, everything's installed. I turned this back on to make sure it turns on. As you can tell, the blue light still works, so it's on. And connect this to the motor. Connect the steering servo to the front one right here. Like so. You can tell that turned on. And then this one right here goes to the back for your steering. For your shifting servo. That's in the rear one right there. Let's plop all this up top for now, because when you're done doing all this, it's always good to make sure everything works. So we have steering, we have throttle, forward and reverse, and servo shifts. Alright, so now I unplugged the battery. We're just going to need to put this in its place. Now I'm not going to be running lights for this one, but the lights do go into this port. I just need to get a plug that fits in there, or just solder it straight onto that port right there. But for now, since we're just going to run it to test this ESC receiver combo and to test my waterproofing, we'll just leave that blank and no lights for now. As you can tell in here, I'm going to leave the power cable or the power switch hanging, towards the back. But I am gonna lay this whole thing down like so. So you see here, and you see that in there, there's a space down there. That's where all your servo leads are gonna go to, like that. Shove the capacitor down on that side right there. And that's pretty much it. That's gonna sit in there, and then you're gonna put this cover on top of that, and then you're good to go. So it sits in there nicely, and it's pretty snug in there, but it fits in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and button this up and show you that it's in there. Well, there you go. It's all hooked up. As you can tell, I have the battery lead connection right here coming through that original port it normally goes to. Screws are screwed in. ESC receiver is in there. Can't really see any more in there, but yeah, it's in there, sitting on top of the servo. Power switch, I need to figure out where to mount this. Double-sided tape probably, but for now it'll just hide somewhere inside there while I'm running it. And yeah, that's it. Just fully together. Now I'm just gonna put this and the trunk back on, and we're good to go. Well, there you guys go. It's all together. Looking pretty beastie. Time to take her out for some real trail running. Let's get to that. All right, here we are at the hill climb. Just to show you that this is actually what I'm using. All right, let's get this thing going. You can tell right here, there's a lot of dirt on this trail, so the rocks are slippery. But once it clears the dirt out, it gets through it. I normally drop off right around here, but let's see if this thing won't tip on this drop off. Alright, now the long stretch before the hill climb, second gear. Alright, back to first. Alright, here's the hill climb, guys. It's obviously a lot easier now, but it's loose today because it's dry, so let's do it. Oh, it's really loose. Maybe we have to go to the left. There we go. Yeah. Well, there you go, guys. Made it up that hill climb pretty easily. Cool little rig. Ready for some more action. All right, let's go ahead and see how this system does in some mud and water. Tuck this thing back under there. Yeah, my little temporary for now. All right, hopefully it's muddy right here, but we'll enter right here. Let's see how it does. Good luck, ESC receiver combo. All right, so far we've been testing the truck itself. The ESC receiver is still way above water. So let's see once we turn it around, if we can get it in some water. There you go. Oh, it's being swept away. I can't battle the water, it's too strong. I might have to go past this rock right here. Yeah, the water's too strong. Alright, we're gonna have to go downstream. Do a little bit more mudding with it, since the current's a little too strong for this guy. Oh, there you go. I lost signal. Let's see if I can get some signal back. Oh, there you go. I got it back. Yeehaw! Oh, I think the battery died. Yeah, I still have steering. I have no throttle though. Huh. Well, I think that's it for this one. Let me fish it out of there real quick. Yeah. See what happened there? Why we have no drive? Yep. I only have steering. Let me see if I turn it off and on if anything happens. Put you guys down real quick. Let's see. Turned it off. Turn it back on. Yeah, I think it's just out of power. I mean, I got power back right there, but I'm pretty sure it's low voltage cutoff. Well, that uphill climb definitely did its thing to that battery. Oh man, that was fun while it lasted, guys. That was it for the water run. Put it back in there for you guys just for fun. So you can tell, works underwater. Oh, but I lost. Yep. That's low voltage cutoff right there, I believe, guys. I'll test the battery when I get home and I'll let you know the voltage. And hopefully that's all that is, but for now, looks like that's it. Well, I don't know if it likes water much, but something was going on earlier, maybe overheating. It wasn't low voltage unless this battery is a bad battery, because it still showed 4 volts each cell when I got home. So it's still not even depleted at all. Pretty close to full charge. So I'm going to investigate more into that, but so far, everything still works. You saw me put it in the water. Everything seems to be working better now than it did earlier in the water, so maybe something was shorting out a little bit or it didn't like that, but at least it still works. You can tell right here I have it back apart. Got the ESC receiver down here again. I noticed that my waterproofing job wasn't that great. There were some spots that looked like once it dried, it kind of separated a little bit, so that's one thing you gotta watch out for with the Plastidip method. So you gotta make sure once it dries, double check it, and you might have to go over it one more time. And also over here, as you can tell, the light port right there, right above my finger, that port that's supposed to be for your lights, since I'm not using it, I went ahead and Plastidiped over that too. It's gonna be easy to get that Plastidip off. I put a big dollop on it so I could just pry it out. But for now, I'll cover it just in case that's what's shorting out every time it hits water. Because as soon as I touch the water, that's when this thing decides it wants to turn off. But I still have steering, and when I restart the car out of water, it continues to go, and it's fine after that. So I got lucky with this ESC receiver combo. I didn't fry it, but as you can tell, it's wet again. So it's been re-Plastidip, and hopefully on my second run, this one will do better. So yes, guys, on the next run, you guys are gonna see this guy, and we're gonna do a range test because I did forget to do that as well. But what you can see in the video so far, the range is not bad for, you know, as far as I went with it, but I want to see how far it really can go. Shouldn't be too bad, hopefully, but we'll see what's up when we get there. So alright guys, thanks for watching. As always, be safe out there, and go run that RC.